Hi everyone, Michelle here from The Creative Cove. Thanks for joining me today. This is going to be part 2 of the second installment of botanical journals. I've been, I guess it's just the warm weather and I've been a little obsessed with building botanical journals. And I've also found this self-laminating sheets that I've really been enjoying using because it's a great way to use up mixed medias and seal them in a really durable cover. So this, we made mini ones before. This is the second installment where the journal's a little bit bigger, and this is a wraparound cover. So it's got a full wraparound. So today we're gonna do the cover. I've uploaded the signature video on building the signature for it. So hopefully you guys are playing along with me or inspired by this idea, and we're gonna do the cover today. So I've been using these self-adhesive laminating sheets. They're great. They're so much fun to use. They're easy and inexpensive. And I've been doing a lot of projects with them. So we're gonna do the cover. I have a scrap piece of, I guess it's like a survey map. It was a big piece and I just chopped it up into small manageable pieces. And it's kind of right up my alley because it's got those very neutral colors for me. So I just chopped it to keep it manageable, and now I'm gonna really chop it down to figure out what I want for my cover. So I don't measure much. I really just kind of gauge it visually and chop it up from there. So I do like to have it a little bit past here, but not too much because you're also gonna have the laminated plastic past that point. So maybe like 1/8 of an inch bigger than your journal. And there's really no point really giving sizes because these are scrap signatures. So you're really just gonna use up, whatever you have, and your journal will be the size you make it. So there's really no wrong or right on what size you wanna make your journal. So this is not tearing properly. I'm just going to tear this down to the size I want. And I like the teared look. So I've been trying to practice and get in the habit of using my ruler. So I really like using the ruler. I like that roughed up look. So what I want to do is I want to put it into 3 panels. I want a little bit of plastic to be showing through here so that they can be on the fold. So I want to see how big I want to make the front cover. I'm actually going to put the map on the inside because I want to decorate the plain side. So this is going to be the cover panel. So I'm going to take my ruler and just rip my cover panel. Try and rip it straight. So there's my cover. And then my back panel. So it's going to have a piece of plastic coming here. So we'll do just a little bit on just almost to the edge of the journal there. So that will be my back panel. And then I'm gonna do my front panel, which I really just want maybe half. You could do a full one. Let's do a full one, just for something different. So it's gonna have a full fold over like this. So you kind of have to decide which cover is gonna be on top. So this is gonna be the back. This will fold over this way. And then this one will fold over this way. So this is gonna be the main page that you see, or if you want it underneath, and this will be the main page that you see. So those are kind of things you wanna decide while you're designing your journal. I'm gonna make this panel the one that I see. So I'm gonna lay it out for a second, and then I'm gonna start kind of playing with how I want it to look. I like the vintage, as we know. And I want to make sure I'm laying it out the right way. So I believe what I have to do is if I'm doing this right, put the main page on this side, and the back goes in the middle, and then the underneath flap goes on this side, so that when you wrap it around, this covers on the front. Yes, pretty sure that's what I want. We'll find out. I can't remember. So I'm just going to use my brushed corduroy here, vintage distressed oxide, and I'm going to tone down the color of the page a little bit. I hope you can see what I'm doing. It's pretty dark out today. It's raining. Trying to get my stuff packed and move. coming up soon, and still so much to do, but it's gonna be an adventure, so I'm excited. All right, so now I get to decorate. So I'm gonna use a selection of scraps that I have left over for making the journal itself, the signature. And I'm gonna start on one panel at a time. So I'm just gonna move these out of the way for a second. I'm gonna start on the main front panel. All right, so I'm just gonna have a look through and kind of tear up and collage. And I also wanna use some pressed flowers. I'm gonna use the title, I think. And I'm just basically having fun ripping out pages and building a composition for the front of my journal. So no wrong or right here, it's whatever you like. I tried to keep all the papers pretty much a similar color. I do like a neutral palette. And this is a botanical theme, so we will use some, like I said, some pressed flowers and stuff. I like the look of this kind of yellowy orange paper. And we'll just play here. And I have the other ink that I like to use too, this darker ink. I like how this makes things pop sometimes. This is that CoCA exclusive ink, close to my heart pad that I use all the time. And I think I'll do this one too. It's a nice chocolate, deep chocolate brown. And I love that because it makes everything kind of stand out. Yeah, I've really been enjoying using these laminated sheets. You don't need a laminator, obviously, which makes it even more fun because it's just much easier to do. So, play with something like this, and this is the main cover. So I think I would like to give it a title. Let me put my ruler. There it is. So just garden or botanical or something, I don't know yet. Let's see what I have in my words. Don't have many left. I have to dump these out so you can see them. All right. So we could put botanical journal there. Photosynthesis, what else do I have? Species. So we could do a species journal. Maybe we'll do that. Something different, because I think I've done botanical journal already. So we'll do species. So it could be fun. It could be like a book where you record what's in your garden, or plants that you've seen that you want to add to your garden, or maybe even house plants. There we go. So something like that. And I'm just gonna tone this page down a little bit and use my dark ink. And I don't really have a format here, and just playing with what I've got and building up what I like. So I definitely like this one. So I'm gonna put this down. So because it's being laminated, you don't have to put tons of glue on, but it's nice to have it in place. So visually you can see what's happening. And when you go to put the laminated sheet on, it's not gonna move on you, which is also nice. It's this side, right? Yeah. Because it creates this vacuum kind of, what's the word? Static. So when you roll the plastic on, it acts as a static electricity, and then it sucks up the page before you have it in place. So it's nice to have the glue down. So species, maybe I'll move that up there and I can add something to the base of that. All right, and I like to add stamps. So I carved a new one. I'm not sure if the video has been uploaded by the time I'm filming this or not, but this is the new one I carved. So I do have a video out on how to carve this guy. So I thought he'd be fun to add to the cover. I'll just throw him down here. Gonna push it out. So these are the lino cuts that I started doing, which I really love doing, and I do a lot of botanical ideas because that's seems to be my go-to. Okay, so that's the first layer. So it's kind of nice. So I think I'll add some pressed flowers to it. So I was thinking blue this time. So I ran out of my own pressed flowers, so now I'm using some that I bought from Amazon, and these blue ones are really quite pretty. So and they're a pop of color, which I'm not really into, but I'm gonna give them a go and see if I do like them. Usually I use like a yellow or a white because my favorite color is yellow, but I just find they're a lot more subtle and kind of have that older look. But this blue is quite pretty, so I thought we'd give it a try. Now I need tweezers. Some tweezers. So there is a white in here too, which is quite nice. And this blue, I really like this blue. So you can see that with all the writing, it's very busy. So I think what I'll have to do is maybe tone it down with some plain paper so that these pretty pressed flowers really show up. Here's a huge fern. Or is it two? I think it's two. So let's maybe tone it down a little with some toned down paper, because right now I think things are a little lost in here. Like this is okay. This isn't bad. But down here it's very busy. So let's tone it down a little with some more blank paper, more settled paper. What have I got? Let's move this before I break it. Move him back over here. And let's have a look. So here's some coffee dyed paper. It's kind of nice. All right, let's use him. And maybe tear this off. So even if the stamp gets covered or part of the stamp gets covered, it's okay. It's just another layer of texture, which I personally really like. Just darken up these edges here so it stands off the page. Something like this. And maybe this can go here still. I think this is too big for this page, yeah. Maybe this guy, something like that. And what else do we have? We have another one of those white ones. So maybe let's do a little cluster instead. So I'm going to take this one off. And then we'll use this little white one. And I'm gonna give these a little bit of glue just so that they stay where I want them. And then maybe a blue flower. Let's see here what we got. These blues are so pretty. I think they're not, I don't think they're real. I think they're maybe dyed. Dyed and then dried. I feel like I need another little fern coming out the side here. Maybe this one. Just coming off that page a little bit. And I love this part. Building up the composition is one of my favorite parts of doing these little botanical journals. So we need something in here. What should we put there? Another little fern. This little guy. And then I have these little Jim Holtz mini little kind of ephemera pieces here that I use up every now and then. I always forget about them, but I've been using them recently and I really like them. They just add another little layer. I just toned them down with the same color I used to mute the paper with. That way they kind of join all the colors together and make it more cohesive. What's this say? So private collection of specimens. It's kind of fun. And what else? What's this? Too big. I'm just looking for real tiny little pieces now. And they are small. I think that's why these are so cute. Like tiny little mushroom card. How adorable is that? Here's a blue tag. That's kind of cute. Something like that. I think I like that. I don't know if I want these mushrooms. I'll just use this. All right, so we'll just tone that down a little. And we'll tone this one down because they're very gray. Okay. I like that. That's not overly busy, but it's got some nice focal points. So now we'll add some glue. So the first thing I'm going to do is glue this guy down. So slide them off. I'll use just regular glue for this paper. Just put that back on there. And then what I can do is just roll my glue stick on and then put my pressed flowers back down. So they just have something to stick to, so that when that vacuum happens with the rolled paper, with the laminated sheet, maybe put a little bit of glue. Oops, I dropped them. With that laminating sheet, like I said, you get that vacuum effect. Sorry, be right back. There we go. Ooh, almost dropped them again. You just don't want it to. It's the problem with glue. All right, we need another one of those. What a mess. Yeah, they're very delicate, these flowers. So you have to be careful with them, as you can see. And I'm not very careful. Oh, just broke that one now too. They are very delicate. So they take a delicate touch, which I'm not good at. And I think I'll put him up here like this. And then we'll move these guys quickly out the way. Stuff everywhere. All right, almost done, promise. Okay, so this can go. Where did we have it? I got glue on these tweezers. I'm just going to switch tweezers. Okay, so let's put the blue guy down. And you don't need a lot. Like I said, it's just to hold these in place while we put the plastic on top and it doesn't move them. And private collection can go right here. So there, that's going to be our cover, which I think is quite pretty. And I kind of like the blue. So I'm just going to move that out of the way and then we'll start on the back. And I like to decorate all 3 pages. So find another piece that I like. Use the music sheet this time. And there's my ruler. And this I'm not going to bother with a title, I don't think. I'm just going to decorate the whole page. Just have some fun layering. And if you don't have pressed flowers, you can use stickers. Stickers are a nice alternative. Probably a lot easier to use as well, I would say. Pin that down. I'm going to glue that right down because I know that's going to go there. Okay, put that there. I did some paintings. Let's see if I can find some. Again, I don't know if this video's been uploaded or not yet, but I did some watercolor botanicals. So I thought these would be kind of nice to add something to it. Let's see, like that one, and I like this one's got some blue in it, which is kind of nice. This one's got some blue in it. So kind of like the blue. Yeah, let's use this guy. So I show a video on how to make these, and they're so much fun. I just love making them. I haven't got much else done other than lots of watercolor prints, but they're so fun. And I find them incredibly relaxing. And if you don't like to draw flowers or paint freehand, this one, for example, is a stamp. So this is one of my carved stamps that I use right here. So I stamp the watercolor and then just kind of play with watercolors and the way they react to paint and ink. And yeah, it's just so much fun. So maybe something like that. And maybe him over here. Something like that. All right, let's darken the edges and see where we want to put that. So if it is uploaded, I will try and remember to link these videos. And if it's not, stay tuned, hit the notification button because it's coming. Where's my tweezers? Here. And it is, like I said, it's just so much fun. I like that because the shapes kind of mimic. And then maybe something in here. Maybe a word in there. Let's see what we've got. Just something blank, maybe. Let's do blank with a little bit of a stamp on it. So not a full stamp, just some texture on it like that. And then we're going to tone it down because it's a bit bright. Okay, I like that all on its own. Should we put something across just to break up that shape? Or should we let the shape? I also sew, so there's another layer of texture with sewing going in. So I am gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna use a heavier duty glue if I can get it to cooperate. I'm running really low. Just because this cardstock, this watercolor paper is quite thick. And I wanna make sure it's in place before we laminate. So I'll throw this down here. Let's just throw some glue in here so I don't forget. All right, so I'm gonna put him down here in the corner. And then he goes across like this. And then a little bit of glue, since this is running, misbehaving, we'll use that. And put that there, just to fill that corner a little bit. And I think I'm gonna leave that alone for the back. And I really like that. And then just maybe do some sewing on that one. Okay, and then we got the last one, which is the front flap. So front underneath flap. So this is the second sheet you will see when you open your journal. So let's go back to here and rip some pages. And I just love doing these little collages. I do find them very relaxing to make. And a good way to use up scraps and just kind of putter at it and sip on a glass of wine or coffee or tea or whatever it is you like. And just enjoy the process. And what I also really like is there's no actual guide to it. So you never know what you're going to get in the end. You just trust your process and your creativity. Use the supplies you have at hand. So sometimes I find if you have too many supplies, you're overwhelmed by choices. So I try to limit what I put on my desk. And that being said, I can hardly move. So I might be lying to you. This is a little survey map. This is such pretty paper. This is an old survey book from parts of Ontario, and it put the mapping in it and the decorative ink and all these etchings that were printed in it were just so pretty. And I wish I could, I wish I had a scanner so that I could keep some of these pages, because some of them are just so beautiful. And they add such a cool texture to any paper. So I'll use this one on this. And I can tone it down a little. All right, let's see what we got here. So we got this, Maybe go this way on this one. And this way. Let's do that. And then rip it. Okay, so let's glue this guy down. He's for sure going there. Go there. And I'm pretty sure he's gonna go here. Put the wider side up top. Yeah. Throw him down. And him at the bottom. Let's do that. Again, just to hold them in place, it's not a lot of glue. And let's see what we want to add here. So do we want to add another little painting maybe? So we've got a smaller one to use. I don't want to use the same plant. Something like that. It's a focal point. Let's cut it off and see. This one I'm going to cut right nice and close to the ink, to the watermark. And I just love painting these. I keep saying that, but it's true. And there's nothing more rewarding than getting excited about painting something. You wake up and you're like, oh, I'm gonna paint that today. Okay, something like this. It's a bit green, so we need to add some blue to this page just to tie it in. So let's see what we've got here. Got more green. That's a pretty one. Could maybe move this off and not use it and just use this in blue. Maybe that's just a little too busy, or it's just a bit too green, I think. Just make another little flower cluster. And maybe this little starburst guy. Okay, let's try that. And what else can we add to it? So we've done species, right? So here's plants, petals. These are just words I printed on paper. I just typed them up in my, this one I did on Procreate, and then I just printed it. So it's a nice way to have some words at the ready that tie into the themes you're working on. I think that's really it. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna move this green guy before he gets broken. All right. I was hoping to have another little plain card here. There's one. Don't like the red. Here's one with writing on it. Okay, let's see. I got this guy. I got garden, so species garden or species plant. Blossoms. There's with an S, blossoms. All right, put this guy over here maybe. Another fern, I think we need going the other way. So let's see here. This one. Let's break them off. this way. And maybe a little blue plant, a little blue flower down here. Let's see what we got left. Too big. Let's make this one. If I don't break it. There we go, like that. I think that works. This is just too green, so I'm gonna leave that out. Okay, we'll play with that in a sec. Let's get some glue down on these guys. Without breaking them this time, Michelle, if possible. Okay, so the fern. And then the blue. And then these blues. This guy here. This guy here. And then this fern coming out. Oops. And then we'll clean this up. And then we're going to be ready to laminate. Okay. Should put the dark on this. Blossoms. Tone this guy down a little. Specimen. And then the flower. Let's try it. Okay, so blossoms, specimen, and then the flower. All right, I like that. I'm not too keen on this guy. I feel like he needs covering here. Not too happy where that fern is now. Maybe I can move it just a little over, just so he looks like he's actually attached to something. And these don't feel very glued, do they? We do want them glued to a certain point so that they don't move when we go to laminate it. So let's try that again. So blue, and then the fern, which I want going out, but I want down towards this. And then this blue over top. Okay, I think that's on. All right, let's hope so. So we'll move these inks out of the way. Put my lids on my glues. Okay, let's make some room here. And we'll get our sheets out. So because of the size of our book, we're gonna need a sheet and a half. And we'll have to sew them together just because they're not long enough. So we're gonna do the back and the front. So I wanna make sure when it's flipped over, which way we're gonna fold it over. I mean, it doesn't really matter if it goes this way or this way, you know, like that, as long as this one's on one of the sides. Let me just think for a second. I put it here, it's gonna fold this way, and that's kind of the way I like them. All right, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave it on this side. So we could fit all three just in, but then there's no width for the bending at the corners with the roundness, and I want that, what are they called? Kind of like a gusset there, so that there's enough room for us to really stuff this journal and have it stretch out. Because that's what I find I do is I stuff my journals, and then they get like they get that V, and with the round soft journal they can thicken up this way and they're still bound. So I like that look better. So what I want to do is judge how much space I want in here, and I'm going to say about 1/2 inch. And I mean, if you do an inch, it's just that much bigger. You can stuff the journal, right? It's really up to what you like. But I do want to make sure that these line up. Oh, so that is not glued. See, so when we go to put that plastic down, that would vacuum and then it would move and then it would ruin our page. So, and this is the cover page, so we want this looking good. So let's try that again. So we'll put this back down. I'll put this down here. And just make sure that they are all kind of stuck in some way. All right, make sure nothing's in the way. Double check our space, our height, and then we're just gonna roll this sheet down as best we can. Hopefully with no air pockets. Okay, just keep rolling, rolling, rolling. All right, there we go. It's in. And then I take my back end of my tweezers and I just kind of push on the edge here where the paper meets the plastic, just so that it seals it right close to the edge. Make sure it's smoothed out. It's nice and adhered to everything. You can go around the thicker plants with your tweezers, the non-sharp edge, and just make sure you push out any air bubbles or anything and just make sure that sheet is completely laminated to the page. So there we go. There's our cover so far. All right, so now I'm gonna trim it down. And if I can find the scissors, there they are. And then we'll go and laminate the last one and then we'll sew. So I'm gonna leave a little bit of a wider edge here so I have something to sew to. Because I'm not a very good sewer, I gave myself a nice big seam allowance. But you can cut that shorter if you sew well. I think I'm gonna do more of this look too, where it's all ripped like that. I really like that look. Okay, garbage. All right, so now let's do the last sheet, back end. So all I'm gonna do for that, I'm gonna cut this down a little bit so I don't have to use the full sheet. So this can be reused. Let's throw this on here. And this doesn't really matter because it's not lined up with anything else. Just make sure everything's stuck. It's not gonna come off. And we'll try and get the sheet peeled. That's what creates the static, I think, is pulling these sheets off. That static cling. Okay, so I'm just gonna roll it down straight, hopefully. That went crooked. Big air pocket in there, but that's okay. I'm just gonna push it out. Yeah, sometimes you can work really easy with this stuff, and then other days you're so frustrated with it. But I actually don't mind the creases. I find it just kind of adds to the age of the book. But if you don't like that look, then really take your time rolling that sheet down, as long as your light items like these flowers are glued so that they don't vacuum up. All right, so I'm gonna trim the top here. And then I'm gonna sew it to this side. Like that. So I'm gonna sew this, cut this a little bit shorter. Don't quite need all that. Okay, so there's about almost an inch there, which is nice because again, it can build the journal a little bit thicker. All right. So let me move this so I can bring the sewing machine in so you can see the next process. I wish I was one of those people who could tidy and organize as they go. But when I get in that creative spirit, I'm just like, I gotta get it done. I don't know why I'm like that. I'm just like that. All right, so am I in view here? I think so. I'm gonna sew it this way. So I'm just gonna do a zigzag where these two line up. It's hard to see because it's plastic and it's probably reflecting on you right now. But basically I want these ends to line up. And then I can trim everything else. I think I missed again. Oh, right there. And I'm gonna do a zigzag here. Hopefully straight. And then I think I'm gonna zigzag this one back down as well on this side. I also like the look of the thread. Just reinforcing that a little bit. Okay, so while I have it in here, well, I'll pull it off to show you. So there's the zigzag, and now the book is binded. So I'm just gonna do some trimming here, and then I'm gonna sew all the way around the outside of the book. And that way it just reinforces this sticky stuff to the, to the whole book. And then it won't, there's no way it's gonna come unstuck, sort of thing. So make sure that this looks good. So there's our cover like that. It's kind of pretty, eh? And you know what? It's very durable too. That's the other thing about this plastic, is that this cover will last quite a long time. So I'm just gonna zigzag all the way around. And I've tightened up my stitch so it's a little bit less wide. Has a little bit of a nicer look around the edge. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. My camera is low, so I hope you can see that you're in frame here. Oh, I've lost my thread. It always happens on camera, always. Don't know if my bobbin's empty or if it just broke. Oh, it's stuck in there, so it must have broke for some reason. Come on. It's got stuck on something. All right, so I still have thread. That's good news. So we don't have to watch me thread a bobbin. This machine's so old. I got it when I was like 16. My mom bought it for me. I used to love sewing my own clothes in high school. I was never good at it. Like my clothes would fall apart in the washing machine because I didn't have, you know, the proper tools to bind all the seams off properly. So eventually they would break down. Oh, now my foot's fallen off. Hang on a second. So I would make my own clothes. But I used to just love it. My mom would get me fabrics, or she'd find something at the thrift shop for me, or hand-me-downs or whatever, and I'd cut them apart, and yeah, I looked kind of goofy, but I loved it. I wasn't that embarrassed. I was kind of proud of myself making my own clothes, you know. And trust me, they were not well made. Like I look back at pictures now and I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? But I think we all do that when we look back at our high school wardrobes, thinking we're cool. So yeah, this sewing machine's been around for a while. She's still works. I have it serviced every couple of years until they can't get parts for it anymore, I guess. And that's what this tape is. It's just, it slowly falls apart. All right. Let's cut that off there. Okay, so there it is. There's our main cover done. And let's throw our signature in it. Make sure we made it right. There we go. So it's really cute. So another thing you can do is you can take, if you have a scoreboard, you can score these to fold neater, but it will eventually take that shape, and we're going to do a closure for it. So it's really cute little cover. All right, so I like to throw some stitching in the cover as well, because again, I do, oops, my ink pad. I do love the texture of the stitching. So if you want to hang around while I do that, and I'm just going to throw some stitching in here. So I kind of just play with the stitching a little bit. So I'll do like a straight, and then at some point I'll switch it to a zigzag, and back to a straight. Assuming the machine will let me do it. And then I'll go across here. I just sew some panels down. Some of these scrap papers down. And let's go zigzag up this side. And I mean, you can add like a gold thread to this or anything you want. There's no rules. Gold thread would be really pretty. Follow this one down here. Okay, let's see what else we want to sew. And I'm starting to really like leaving these threads. Didn't like that look before, but I kind of like that look with these this type of journal. So I'll see if I keep them, because sometimes they do drive me a little bonkers, and then other times I really like them, so we'll see. Oh, I've lost my thread again. Why am I not sewing? This cotton thread that I bought is not very good. What's happening there? Okay, I've lost my bobbin again. Yeah, I definitely would buy nylon thread next time, especially going through this plastic. I guess it gets sharp too, right? And can rip the thread pretty easily. So definitely nylon thread or anything but cotton. Cotton's a little bit too weak. Sorry about that. It's the nature of junk journaling. I'll try it again. All right. Okay, here we are, back in business. It's probably not good for me to be turning it like that either, without cutting the thread. Probably putting a lot of tension on the thread. Maybe that's what it is. Leave that in, turn. Let's do zigzag here. Just gonna move that a little bit, and then we'll do straight line, and then I'll pull it out and show you. I think actually I'm gonna go around this word species as well. There we go. All right. So there's some texture there with the sewing, a little bit of sewing here. And then here's where I ran out of thread, but I kind of like the holes. I might re-sew that actually. Don't know if I like it without thread there, but I kind of like the texture of the holes. Yeah, I'm gonna sew it. Sorry, almost done. All right, let's do a straight line there instead. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna sew the next two panels, but I'm gonna do it now because I'm gonna put the grommets in. I don't want the needle to hit the grommets, so you can fast forward this part if you like, because it's a bit tedious just watching me sew, especially since I'm not a good sewer. And I can't fast forward the video myself and edit it and come back sewn. One day, when I figure out what editing software to use, I will do so. I'll try and do it quickly. Sorry, shaking my camera when I go fast. So we're gonna put the grommets in to hold the signature, because I like to tie my signatures in this case, just so that I can pull the whole signature out and play and decorate it and write in it. Almost done this one. Okay, so there's that one. There's that one sewn. So a little sewn all the way around here. And of course I'm using brown thread, but you could use a really bright blue on this, or any color that you have. Like I said, a gold would be really nice. Just gonna sew this last one. Bear with me. Bouncing my camera. Here comes the garbage man. You can hear the truck outside. I'll just go up the back of this. All right, that's enough sewing. Okay, move that back out of the way. So there we go. There is our cover. So now let's turn it into an actual cover. So I'm gonna put 2 grommets in here. I'm gonna use my crocodile guy for that. Are they grommets? Not sure what they're called. These little metal things that you squeeze in that kind of reinforce the whole opening. These guys, so these are a different brand. These are the, so they don't always squeeze nicely. So we'll see, we'll give it a go, see what we get. All right, so I'm gonna do this guy, put that in. Make sure I do it right. Nope, so like this. I'll make sure I got it lined up and then squeeze. That one worked, yay. Maybe it was just me then, maybe I wasn't doing it right. I don't use this tool very often. And then I'll do this one, there. And then a piece of elastic. So this is my elastic that I use. I got it at a thrift shop, and it's like the best $5 I ever bought, paid or used. I love it. So I'm gonna thread it through here, and I'm gonna put the bow or the knot inside the journal, inside the signature, as opposed to the outside of the journal, just so it doesn't look too cluttered when I go to do a closure on it. So see, the strings are nice, but I don't know if they're gonna irritate me. We'll see. So here's the signature we worked on. I'll find the middle. Here's somewhere, here's the middle. Make sure I do it the right way up. And what's nice is you just untie this and pull the whole signature out to play with it, which is what I like. I like to have full access to it. Just make sure that's fitting in there. And you don't have to tie it overly tight, but just to hold it in place. Okay, so now our signature's in there. So now I want to do a closure. So I'm not very creative with closures yet. It's not something I've practiced a lot of. So I usually just go to my usual tie around ribbon. And I think I'm going to do that in this case as well, because I'm not sure what else I can do. I like the whole, I want to do the button with an elastic ribbon, but I packed my buttons. So we're just going to stick to the usual here. My usual go-to. So just gonna kind of roughly center the book here. So right about there. You can measure, of course, but I don't like things perfect anyway, so it doesn't bother me if it's off center. Did I use the wrong hole? Yeah, I'm gonna use the big guy here. It's a small hole, I need the big one. All right, so punched a hole right through the plastic, no problem. We'll put another guy in here. Make sure I'm doing this right again. And squeeze. And that one worked. And then I'm just going to thread another piece. So if you have ribbon or whatever it is you have, in my case, this is all I have left out from packing. So I'm just going to use it. I can always change it out or replace it later. And then I'm just going to put some through here and tie it up. So again, it can come up. I think when I'm situated more in the trailer and set up, I'll probably change this to a button or something, like tie a piece of this and then sew a button in. But there we go. There's our pretty little journal cover. I really like the blue, and it's really botanical. Botanical vintage. I hope you liked it. I hope you follow along. We'll do the next video. We'll be decorating these and finishing off our signatures. So we can do some more paintings and maybe do some drawing in here. We'll see what comes up next. And hope you join me for it. I hope to see you again. And until then, happy creating, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.